For centuries, monarchs ruled the Indian subcontinent. Vast empires emerged over time, and a few rulers left lasting impressions of their legacy in the region. Even under British occupation, feudal rule by natives endured, but by the 20th century, things began to change. In 1947, British India was about to become independent and split into two countries. Scattered between the two regions were 565 princely states. Each state had a native ruler who held on to immense wealth and power. Some rulers were determined to hold on to their power when the British left, but India and Pakistan had other plans. They wanted to end feudal rule and integrate the princely states to their territories. For many years, the British Empire grew its territory in the Indian subcontinent. Expansion was not easy, so the British developed alliances with some princely states. Many native rulers signed treaties with the British Empire, allowing them to remain autonomous. In return, the native rulers gave the British Empire supreme authority over the region. This system of rule was called paramountcy, and it allowed the native rulers to keep some of their power and wealth. By 1947, the British Empire started taking steps to declare British India independent. To handle this matter, Lord Mountbatten was placed in charge. Mountbatten supervised the breakup of British India. Under his watch, British India split into two countries. Paramountcy also lapsed, and the rulers of the princely states were given three choices. They could either join India, a secular Hindu majority country, Pakistan, a Muslim majority country, or they could remain independent. The Indian government could not afford to let the princely states remain independent. At the time of independence, 552 of the 565 princely states were within the Indian territory. Maintaining relations with so many small states would be impossible. 25% of the population lived in the princely states, and some of these states were very oppressive. It was important for the Indian government to integrate the princely states into India and give everyone a chance to live under democracy. To negotiate the merger of the princely states, the Indian government put Sardar Patel, the Deputy Prime Minister of India, and his right-hand man, VP Menon, in charge. To convince the native rulers to join India, the Indian government offered the rulers a privy purse. Privy purses were annual payments from the Indian government to each ruler for their part in integrating India. Most of the princely states were small, and they could not govern themselves, so they joined India. However, three states in particular resisted. The princely state of Junagadh had a Muslim ruler who ruled over a Hindu majority population. Junagadh's ruler pledged to join Pakistan, even though his state's borders didn't align with it. Meanwhile, most of the Hindu population of Junagadh wanted to stay in India. With rising internal conflict and pressure from the Indian government, Junagadh held a plebiscite and the majority of the people voted to join India. The princely state of Hyderabad was the largest region in India. The ruler of Hyderabad, Mir Osman Ali Khan, was a Muslim, whilst his state had a Hindu majority population. During independence, Mir Osman Ali Khan was the richest man in the world, and his state was as large as other nation-states in Europe. Hyderabad's ruler wanted to keep his power and wealth, so he chose to keep his state independent. After independence, a private army called the Razakars, led by a man called Qasim Razvi, started terrorizing the state. Their agenda was to integrate Hyderabad into Pakistan. The rising violence in Hyderabad gave the Indian government a reason to intervene. The Indian government launched Operation Polo. They entered the state with armed forces to stop the conflict. after a violent battle that claimed many lives. The Razakars were defeated and the ruler of Hyderabad reluctantly integrated his state into India. The princely state of Jammu and Kashmir had a Hindu ruler who ruled over the Muslim population. This state was between India and Pakistan, but its ruler wanted to stay independent. Pakistani tribal militia entered Jammu and Kashmir and started chipping away at its territory. The ruler of Jammu and Kashmir was unable to contain the situation, so he asked for India's help in exchange for joining his state with India. India's involvement in the region resulted in the First Indo-Pakistan War, which lasted for a year. With help from the UN Security Council, the two regions agreed to a ceasefire, and the state was split, and India received 2/3 of Jammu and Kashmir. The integration of India's share of the princely states allowed the organization of India's territory into its current form. Over time, the former rulers of India slowly lost their privileges. With the 26th Amendment of the Indian Constitution in 1971, privy purses and royal titles were abolished in India, and the era of feudal rule finally came to an end.